Year. Yes, it's the first episode of 2022. Full realities may vary. The podcast that wanders and meanders and somehow gets to the finish line. Look at there he is with his fancy new haircut and his bright red Christmas stocking background. It's Cody Gough. Hi, Cody.
I look like garbage. So my hair is just not doing it for me today.
You are so thirsty and so vain.
Yeah. We got to be on brand.
Well, sure. Yeah. What's the matter? What happened? You look okay to me.
Nothing. I don't know.
Maybe
it's just in my head. I didn't shower today, but that's par for the pandemic. Am I right?
Well, yeah, this isn't smell-o-vision. Nobody can tell.
No, it's not. Although I heard that some researchers worked on a TV that you can lick.
Why?
I don't know. Craig talked about that.
Unless you're watching porn all the time.
Dude, I don't know. No, Craig mentioned it on his radio show, and I was just like, that's the worst thing I've ever heard.
And that's coming from a science communicator.
That's
not science.
I do that part of the time. I don't just do. You know what? I'm working on a rebrand. Did you know this?
Did I tell you this? No, I didn't know. I didn't know what kind of rebrand. No. So wait, first let's establish your current brand.
Should we?
What do you think your current brand is?
People that are familiar with my work on Curiosity Daily with Discovery think that I am a science communicator and that I'm a guy that loves science and I communicate it.
Well, you're a guy that communicates science. I don't take science communicate. I don't add that level of you love science to it. I say that you are interested and you can communicate about it.
Sure. Okay. All right. Well,
that's me though.
All right. Also perceived, on paper and my resume stuff like podcast, an audio producer and host. I make audio stuff, right?
Yeah. No, you are definitely an audio producer and host. That would be on brand, as the kids like to say.
Right, and those are fairly accurate assessments. But the communicator part, I'm a communicator. I'm like you. I like to dilettantely communicate.
Would you be a content creator?
No. I hate that term.
I do as well. That's why I wanted to see if you were, if you were in fact one. Are you a storyteller?
Pass. Next question.
All right. See, I will say that I am, but not in the way that the Jive content creators say it, because I do tell stories.
How do the Jive content creators say it?
That it's the content creator storyteller. It's the whole thing that they're just creating stories. Let me tell your story. Blah, blah, blah. Can you tell a story or not?
Mike in the chat saying maybe an influencer.
Ooh.
The other day, I was talking to my wife about the difference between a thought leader and an influencer, and I was like, "Oh, they're like thought leaders or influencers," and she was like, "Influencers wear bikinis," and it was hilarious. If you're an Instagram influencer, you're a girl in a bikini. That's 90% of the influencers.
Yeah, I'd say 90%. I do follow some chefs and beer and whiskey people who I consider influencers, and they rarely, if ever, wear bikinis or show skin. Except their tattooed arms for the beer guys.
But see,
and some of the cooks.
Well, I would call them thought leaders, though, because they lead in thoughts, right?
Correct.
Yes. Which is a better thing than being an I don't know. It's
being an influencer is, hey, come on, buy what somebody's paying me to tell you that this is cool. And if you buy enough, they'll keep paying me to tell you this is cool.
Right.
So you were just to be a corporate shill. You were never really you were never an influencer. You were just a paid advertiser.
Have I told you that content creator is what we call my baby when he poops?
No, but he is creating content.
Yeah. No, mid-morning.
Toxic content.
Very highly toxic.
Oh, highly toxic.
He hasn't been canceled,
though. Boy.
He hasn't been canceled, though. No, but he'll run over to the corner around early mid-morning, and he gets real quiet and very focused for a minute, so you know what he's doing. And I'm always like, "Oh, you're creating some content? Look at that content you're creating." And I think it's appropriate because it's how I feel about the term.
I'm looking. Thanks to everybody who's coming in the chat saying hello. We are happy you are here. Happy New Year to everybody. Vice of Miami podcast chimes in. Hey guys, is what all the influencers start out with, and then the duck face. That is true. Now the other thing I'm finding, a lot of the female influencers do this with the tongue. they loll their tongue out like they've had
no.
I don't think that's sexy. I think you had a stroke. I don't get it. But if you look, all these influencers, their tongue is halfway out. So I don't know what we're supposed to be eating or drinking or licking or whatever, but maybe if we just all our new posts should have us just with our tongues out. See if it helps.
That should be the logo to Reality Is May Vary.
Yeah, just a big tongue. Oh wait, the Rolling Stones, that's their brand. We can't.
That might be. Tongue. It might be getting some trouble there, but yeah, no. Wow, there's some gems being dropped in the chat.
People are coming in hot for the first cast of the year.
The duck face share like it. No, I can totally do like a YouTube influencer. Hey guys, what's up? Yo, I was just like in my what do people live in? Hey man, I was just in my mansion the other day and I was talking to Brenda, and then he's not gonna say who Brenda is. And Brenda was like, "You're gonna make this video, so check this out. We're gonna play a trick on Brenda. We're gonna play a trick on Brenda today. Come on, guys. Come on, guys." And then it like jump cuts, like Brenda, who's some like tween sitting there just like on her phone. I'm scrolling Instagram. And then like the guy comes in the background. He's like, "We're going to do this to Brenda. Hey, look, Brenda, I got this thing." And then like he like sticks it in her face. And then she's like, "Oh my God, what is that?" And he'll be like, "It's poop." Oh, and then she screams and she's like, "Oh," and it's like that's influencers. It's every YouTube video, and they're all 30 minutes. Have you noticed this?
You know what? I don't watch any of these. I don't want to see anybody unbox anything. I don't want to see anybody, try to sell me something. I don't want FOMO from anybody. I just want to move on with my now. So the other night, and this is jumping around, I'm watching New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. Dick Clark's New Year's Rockin' Eve with Ryan Seacrest. Let me get the entire title out there. It was
.tumblr.com.
Yes. _Reddit. What? So now I have to look up this woman. Well, no, I'm not going to give her. So there's a co-host on there, a young woman that I had no idea who she was. Turns out she was a YouTuber and some sort of influencer, and she has gigantic followings on her YouTube channel. So kudos to her, but I had no idea who this woman was. She's like 26 years old. She's got bazillions of followers and subscribers and likers, and she couldn't have been more obnoxious. She's everything you were just saying about YouTube influencers come to life on network television.
Hold on, I'm looking this up. Liza Koshy?
Liza Koshy. Yes. She now lives in New York. She has started with one YouTube channel. Now she has a couple YouTube channels, and now she's on TV.
Right? And she's not good on TV?
All right. I'm going to admit the fact that I'm not her target audience. I'm not Liza's demographic. I found her, as I do most people on television, annoying, cloying, self-important, and ridiculous, and trying way too hard. Yeah. Just stop. Because it's not I'm trying to think if there's anybody that I like who does these specials or these New Year's Eve things or these, red carpets. They're all trying so hard. Nobody's just genuinely entertaining or endearing or funny. It all was, "Hi guys, hey guys, blah, 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 blah." She's just vomiting garbage out of her mouth and dancing around. And then the most bland man on the planet, Ryan Seacrest, is going, "Liza, you're crazy." So it was just ridiculous. But I kept flipping around because, of course, on New Year's Eve, I was all by myself because everybody else was asleep, including the dogs. So I'm flipping through all of these things, and we're circling back to what you were saying. But that's, I don't watch these YouTube people. That's how I don't know that one of them is now hanging out with Ryan Seacrest in Times Square, getting COVID and wearing a Planet Fitness hat.
No, what I was going to say is YouTube algorithms. I don't know. You may notice this if you ever go on YouTube.
Only to make sure that this is up there.
Good. No, stay off of it as much as humanly possible. But all the recommended videos used to be like 3 to 5 minutes. You finished your video, go watch this 3 to 5 minute video. If I go on my TV and I watch a video now, every recommended video is 25 to 30 minutes. And it's all these YouTube pranksters that are all like 23 somehow have like a multi-million-dollar mansion in Beverly Hills that they live in and a bunch of friends who are also rich. It's very strange. I don't understand the culture. But YouTube is just like, they just want your time now. They're just like, we want you to never leave. And it's dystopian.
Well, they get paid, right? These people get paid more the longer you watch, right?
I don't think that's...
Or is it just by the clicks?
It should be by ads, which play at certain points in the video. I don't really know exactly, but I do know that it's garbage. You know what, Brian, people need? People need an alternative to YouTube.
I don't know.
People need an alternative to YouTube. YouTube, you get on, they're telling you, go watch this hour-long video. They're giving you all these ads, and it's all filler, right? Like, it's not quality content, right? If I have a funny joke, I'm going to tell it in 3 minutes or less. I'm not going to take 30 minutes. You need engagement. Yeah, Mike, it's trash. So, I think what YouTube, in YouTubers, to a lot of their credit, a lot of the ones that have been making stuff on there for a long time, they're sick of it, right? They're just like, I don't want to have to, kowtow to whatever algorithm changes they got. Like, I just want to make my thing that I like. If only there were a service where a creator could upload their content and it wasn't supported by ads, and people, their viewers, their fans, their audiences could give them money and they could get a cut of it and it'll pay for the bandwidth and the hosting costs. Fully ad free. Yeah.
I think there might be one.
Is there?
Yeah, but are you willing to show your tatas? Are you talking about OnlyFans?
I'm not.
Oh, I thought that's where you were going.
I guess
Carol said she's watching on YouTube. I feel left out because I don't see the comments on Facebook. Well, the comments are coming up on, they should be coming up on the feed. They're on Restream. They're not on the Facebook Live. Well, they're on Facebook, but the comments are here, or we're seeing the chat on the service that we use to stream this.
We see a consolidated chat, but the chat doesn't go back out to the...
I don't know.
We
see where they're... Yeah.
It used to, but yeah, we can't facilitate that. Sorry about that, Carol.
Sorry, Carol.
We can't do anything about it.
Yeah, you'll just have to listen to our silliness.
We'll be reading, a lot of the stuff that comes in. No, there is, in fact, a new platform being developed.
What is it?
By a good friend of mine. I don't know that I'm at liberty to announce it on the show.
Oh, wait, it's not the one that we were, the other, like, video Twitter one, right?
Mm-mm.
Okay.
Yeah, no.
That's high.
No, I'll hopefully be dropping a bomb of an announcement in a month or so. My friend is planning on launching this site, and I'm going to have some content on there.
Really?
Yeah.
Wow.
I'm not getting paid for it, but I will have some content on there. And
I'm looking forward to you creating some content.
I want you to create some content. Let's all create content.
Yeah, I'd love to create some content.
Yeah.
I feel we do create content.
We do.
We just don't call it that.
Sure.
We just call it yammering. We create sound and fury.
People that aren't you and me, Brian, they don't realize that if you're good at one form of media, it doesn't necessarily make you good at another.
Correct. And sometimes people aren't good at. Now, I shouldn't say that. I was gonna demean everybody, but there's some very talented people creating content on YouTube and stuff. There are. There's comics who create specials and put them right on YouTube, and they end up bypassing all the traditional networks and things like that, and they're racking up millions of views, and they're doing very well. So there's a lot of really talented people out there. A lot of it just isn't geared toward me, and that's okay because I'm an old man, So I don't know. Somebody told me they watch these kids things on YouTube, and their kids are hooked on them because it's all bright colors, and these little kids are making millions of dollars because all these other little kids are watching it. Mm-hmm. So God bless them. I just don't get it. And I'm mad that it passed me by, or that I was here too early. I wasn't here, I didn't grow up doing that.
But no, maybe it wasn't the medium for you, right? Like you did stand up and not improv for a reason.
Correct. Because improv sucks.
Right. Improv sucks. Your sweet spot is radio and stand up on a stage. And I mean, a bunch of other things that you don't do as much of because it's hard to do everything. Right. But like, podcasting, right? Like I like to record and edit myself a lot, which is why I'm bad on this show sometimes because I can't cut it. Like on Curiosity Daily, which is a great alternative to YouTube. Thank you for pointing that out in the chat.
Wow.
Curiosity Daily, you're right. Like that's good. I get total control. I've actually made some very funny YouTube videos, but no one's watched them.
Really?
So whatever. I love video editing, and I did a couple unboxing parody videos that were really. I like go back and I made them like 7 years ago. I go back and watch them. I laugh. I'm like, this is pretty funny. But I just don't
you were ahead of your time.
I haven't dedicated. There's Twitch streamers. There's people that can sit around playing video games and talking all day. And like, that's a skill that I don't think that either of us would have, because I'd be too into the game and you wouldn't care about the game.
Yeah, exactly. I just mock the game.
Yeah. So it's too bad that they put this lady on the air if she's not a good, because it takes a certain type of person.
Well, see, but they're just because I don't think she's any good. There's probably a lot of people they're probably young people who think she's fantastic. Just who think, but Marta said, why are you watching Ryan Seacrest? One, because it was New Year's Eve, and that's part of New Year's Eve because the local stuff hadn't come on yet. So I couldn't make fun of Channel 5, Channel 7, and Channel 9 yet. So I was watching Ryan Seacrest and making myself some pecan pie martinis. And again, sitting completely alone. So it was, what else am I going to do? I'm going to critique this young woman on, on television.
Yeah.
As I do every New Year's Eve.
Marta mentioned, have you seen the ones where people send gifts to YouTubers and they just open the stuff? That's messed up. I stumbled upon one. It was weird. It was a couple, 2 cats and 2 dogs and a cat, and they lived in what looked to be a fairly large house. They all do. They were opening up piles of boxes. Yes, I've seen these where YouTubers will be like, here's my monthly, I'm opening packages that you sent me, like video, and they'll open it and be like, wow, this is great. And then like, thank you so much. And then maybe say something about it and then move on to opening more things that you gave them. Yeah. So it's like a fetish. It's like a weird fetish.
I don't understand this society. What are you drinking there? It looks frothy and delicious.
Thank you. Well, out of respect for your dry January, I wasn't going to say anything. It's just a revolution.
All right. No, just listen. It's yes, I am doing dry January. I have agua fria, just ice water. Delicious. It's really all I'm drinking now, from coffee and water until February, because I don't drink pop. Well, I take that back. Yesterday I had a Coke because I got a hot dog for lunch, so I had a Coke. But so I decided I was gonna. I did it in 2019, dry January, just as a. Just like to jumpstart some weight regulation, let's just say, because the last 2 years have been kind of rough on everybody. I chose to eat my feelings and donuts and everything else, and then drink my feelings.
I'm drinking.
And so now I am changing that path. And so I figured I would start with the alcohol and the sweets. And so that's a good, it's not a resolution. It's not it's just, hey, dry January, I can do that. And then come February, I'll be a much cheaper date, because February 1st, when I have a beverage, one will be enough instead of 2 or 3,
Sure.
So that's dry January.
And it's going okay so far?
Yeah. Well, here's the thing.
2 days, right?
It's been fun. This is day 4. Don't sell me short. This is day number 4. Saturday, Sunday. Debbie, the devil, before she left, and I'll tell why she's not here. She did. Before she left me, she's like, you should quit drinking. No. Before she went to bed on New Year's Eve, I said, well, I'm probably going to make myself a cocktail while I critique all these New Year's Eve shows, because it's my last one. Well, why don't you just wait and start on Monday? I'm like, because that doesn't count. If you don't, if you don't start dry January on January 1st, it doesn't count for me anyway, because I'm all or nothing. So it's either cold turkey and nothing, or I'd go, Monday, Tuesday. But this week was a little tougher, only because I'm here all by myself for this week and next week, and I'm on vacation, so I don't go back to school till next Monday. So I really, other than stuff that I'm doing around the house, like a glass of wine with dinner would be nice.
Right.
Not because I need it, but just because I enjoy it.
Right.
So that's the only thing that's different. Plus, our house is full of booze. Our house is like an alcoholic's nightmare. Thankfully, I'm not an alcoholic, neither is Debbie, but everywhere you look in this house, not everywhere you look. Like I'm in the office. There's no booze in the office.
Yet.
Well, talk to me in February. Hey, in the kitchen, there's a big cabinet with alcohol in it. Downstairs, there's our wine cellar, which is an old beechwood wine rack filled with wine, and the beer fridge. So there's booze all over the house. And it's not hard. I guess I have pretty good willpower. I guess when I finally do put my mind to something, I've got pretty good willpower. So it's going to be fine. It'll be a little tougher, like if we have pizza, because beer goes with pizza. That's, I don't need a beer just coming home from school or whatever. But if we're having chili or something, beer goes good with that. Or if we're having a steak, like a nice glass of wine. But that'll all be for February. So this month, I'm also not going to eat anything that I enjoy. So then I won't want to have anything to drink with it.
Perfect.
It's a good plan.
Just eat yogurt.
Yeah, just plain yogurt.
Oh God, no, I didn't say that. No,
just gruel. I'm gonna eat nothing. I'm gonna be like Oliver Twist. Please, sir, can I have some more? I won't ask for more. It'll just be horrible.
That's brutal.
Yeah, it's just gonna be gruel. I'm gonna eat it with a wooden spoon out of a pot.
So,
it's just gonna be. It's gonna be a long month. But we're already at what day is today? Today it's the first week. 4th. Yeah, I'm good.
So I
got it under control.
Is it is diet the main thing right now, or are you?
That's the main thing.
That's what that is the main thing though. Diet is really even more than exercise. I believe is as long as you're eating healthy, you're going to be.
It's key. I did this before. We all remember, and thankfully I haven't gained it all back. That's the only thing. But I also know it's time to stop. And it was, last time it was all diet. Now it's going to be harder because I'm, 11 years older than I was the first time I lost it all. But, it'll be fine. It's going to be fine.
Right.
And, I'm not worried. I'm not worried about getting through the month without drinking. I'm worried about like getting to summer and being able to put on my Tommy Bahamas again. That's what I'm looking forward to. Because I have a look, I have a style, I have a brand, Cody.
Yeah.
I got a look that I have to maintain.
Well, I too have made the first step towards making a change. We'll see if it actually happens. But I'm not changing my diet.
No, what are you changing?
Today, I got an exercise bike.
Ooh, you didn't have anywhere else to hang your laundry?
No.
Oh, all right, good.
Shocking. Yeah.
That is shocking. So wait, you got an exercise bike?
Right. And this is going to be an interactive segment because I'm going to need some suggestions from you. All right. So here's the deal. Okay. I need to do cardio and I don't feel like running outside. I ran cross country in high school in Illinois. Ooh. Yes, I have run 3 miles in snow, right? Like I can handle it. I don't want to. I don't blame you. I cannot find sweatpants that are long enough for me. Have you done this?
All of my sweats are short, which is why if I get any that are even close to the right length, I never dry them because the minute you dry them, they're too short.
Yeah.
So no. I'm wearing a pair now that I'm like, why are these so short?
Yeah, no, they literally don't exist. Sweatpants are long enough. And I've run in the cold with not good sweatpants and my ankles are exposed. And you think it's like, okay, it's your ankles. No, sucks.
That does suck.
And especially with the next week, like -1 is whatever. So like I need consistent cardio that I can just do like any time of year, rain or shine, whatever weather. So I went on Nextdoor, the much maligned app that I complain about a lot.
I'm on it for my neighborhood.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with it.
It's goofy.
There's some environments where it's not good, but my neighborhood's cool. So there was somebody about actually probably close to you, just west of me, 20 minutes west of me, east of me. They're east of me. You're east of me.
I am east of you.
Lake is always east. Unless
you're in Michigan.
Right. They were selling a Spirit exercise bike.
I don't know anything about that brand.
I don't either. Apparently, it's a very good gym brand, and they have one consumer model. Retails for $1,400.
What?
Guess how much I took it off for hands for?
Well, as somebody who tried to sell a treadmill,
barely
back
used.
In the day.
Sorry, barely used. She said she'd used it like 5 or 6 times. Barely used.
Well, that goes without saying. Barely used, because everybody who buys one for their house goes, "Oh man, I'm going to use it." All right, I'm looking at this Spirit bike. Different Spirit. Now, do you have the recumbent style seat or a regular bike seat on
No,
yours?
regular bike seat.
All right, I'm looking. You're right. $1,400 if I bought it new, free
Mhm.
shipping. I'm gonna guess that you paid $75 for it. Because nobody, once they realize they're never going to use exercise equipment again, people don't want it in their house. I think we ended up selling a treadmill that we had inherited from Debbie's mom that was in the basement at our old house that I used, I think, twice. Debbie may not have used it at all. It was the loudest, most horrific thing. I think we got rid of it for $20.
Wow.
Yeah. Yeah, if you needed years ago, if you needed a treadmill, I had one for you. All right, so I say 75. Am I way off?
I didn't get that big of a bargain, but 180.
180 for a
Yeah.
$1,400 exercise bike?
Yeah.
But you have to go get it.
I had to go get it. It only weighs about 100 pounds.
All right, and it fit in your car?
Yeah, I was actually able to pick it up on my own. I had to get it down a set of staircase, down a set of stairs. So the previous owner helped me with it down, and then my wife helped me get in her basement. But I could pick it up out of the car, and I picked it up and walked it over the side, down the sidewalk. But
look at you, Stretch, just impressing your wife. Look at me, I can lift up an entire exercise bike. I guess I don't really need to exercise. Look how strong I am.
Well, I didn't need to exercise. I didn't exercise today. I carried the bike, and then I was like, she's like, "Oh, are you gonna do it today?" I'm like, "Nah, I already exercised."
No. And tomorrow you'll be sore from lifting an exercise bike, so you won't be able to do it tomorrow either. Oh man, I pulled my back. And then then your son will go downstairs and just look at it, and he'll want to ride it.
Right. No, here's what I realized. I realized that I get very bored while working out. Even if I'm listening to a podcast, I could probably do better actually if I listen to more podcasts. But even if I have like a 20-minute, even yoga, right? Like if I'm doing a yoga workout at home and they're calling out the moves and stuff, like I just want to be consuming something else. So
some content that someone created.
I want to watch a show, not
right?
I want to be entertained, not consume content, because that's a toilet. So here's where you come in, Brian.
All right.
My wife does not like to commit to a lot of TV shows because
that's a shame.
Well, I know. Well, it's a shame because everything's a TV show.
Right. And it's a shame. It's a shame that she's so smart. And I obviously am the guy you're going to come to who likes to watch TV.
Well,
so that's why it's sad.
No, I need your expertise because look, here's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to pick 30 minutes a day. Let's start out small. Pick a show. I'm going to put a monitor down there, put the show on. I will just ride this bike while I watch the show. There's not too much movement. It's not like a treadmill. I can focus somewhat. And I'll do a couple different positions. I'll do like a spin class kind of thing where you shift. So I'm working out different parts of my core and whatever. I got to work all that out. But the point is that I'm doing cardio and breathing for 30 minutes or so. So, what show should I watch?
Wow. Well, what do you look? Here's something. I've been binging this lately. Well, lately being since Debbie left. The Vice series behind Dark Side of the Ring. As a wrestling guy, they're all 44 minutes.
Okay.
And it's phenomenal. There's 3 seasons. It would be something that would interest you that I think would be fun.
Yes.
There was also a couple of, here's another one that you might enjoy, but it's only a couple seasons. Is it on Apple? Mythic Quest. It's a comedy about game developers.
Yes.
That's pretty funny. With Rob McElhaney from It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia.
Have you mentioned it to me before?
I don't believe I have.
No, my brother-in-law has.
Okay.
My sister's husband has mentioned it like 4 times to me. I will add Mythic Quest. Are they half-hour episodes or hour?
Yes, half-hour episodes.
Perfect.
Half-hour episodes.
All right, I will do that. Like that's what I'll do.
Watch. I've mentioned this cartoon to you before. It'd be good because you'd be in the basement. No chance of your young son coming. Watch Big Mouth on Netflix.
Big Mouth on Netflix, really?
Yeah, it's an adult cartoon. John Mulaney and Nick Kroll. Nick Kroll created it. It's about these kids coming into their adolescence, and they're shame monsters, and it's foul, and it's hilarious.
Wow. All right.
So those are some half-hour shows.
Big Mouth. No, you reminded me of one when you said adult cartoon. A lot of people have told me that I need to watch BoJack Horseman.
Molly told me. I watched a few seasons of BoJack Horseman, and it was okay. Will Arnett voices BoJack the horse, and it's fun. Molly's mad at me because I made it to the last season, and then I stopped for whatever reason. I just stopped, and she's like, I can't believe you didn't watch the end. I was like, oh yeah, I kind of lost interest. Plus, there's certain things, I only really watch TV when I'm sitting in the living room with Debbie at night, because the other times I'm doing stuff.
Mhm.
It's so if she doesn't like it, plus with Netflix, I can't turn on an episode in bed because if I fall asleep, Netflix is going to run every episode of that show until my TV blows up.
Right. You can
So
turn that feature off,
Oh, you can?
Yeah.
Yeah. Why would I do that?
You can turn off play next episode, which I did immediately upon learning that you could do that. It saves
Well, I'm
your
going to do
life.
that now that now that's terrific news.
Mhm.
Now I can watch things and not worry if I fall asleep, because that's why I don't watch any of the streaming services upstairs.
Yeah.
I only watch them downstairs. So BoJack was good. It's fun. Did you watch Schitt's Creek?
I did not know.
That's a good one. Did you watch Silicon Valley?
I did not.
Dude,
Silicon Valley is a good. You're right, and that's 22
Silicon
minutes,
Valley
right?
is excellent. What's that?
That's half hour, right?
Half hour. So is Schitt's Creek. Half hour.
Wait, really?
Yeah.
Oh, I
Bang,
didn't know
bang,
that.
bang, baby.
All
You
right.
knock them out.
I'm writing these down because the thing is, like, it's kind of ironic. When I was in improv classes at Second City, one of my teachers was this guy, Michael Gelman. He was Bill Murray's understudy back in the day
Okay.
when they went to Second City. But he's a cool, great Second City guy. He went on this whole rant about how everyone needs to experience as much as possible to become better improvisers. He's like,
Correct.
you're going to have tourists in town and you're going to say, give me a location. And they'll have just come from the Museum of Science and Industry. And you're going to say, give me a location. And they'll say, the Museum of Science and Industry. You better have been to the Museum of Science and Industry. He was always like, go out, go to every
Go out
place
and do
you can,
things, yes.
watch every show you can. It'll make you more relevant and fun. What's funny and really sad is that I just spent 4 years on Curiosity Daily, and I had very few references to make from current TV shows because I just didn't watch a lot of stuff.
Yeah.
So like people got basically Final Fantasy 14 references and then whatever Hitchcock movie I was watching with Casey. Not really that great. Somewhat ironically, now that I'm kind of winding down production with Curiosity Daily, I'm going to be I'll say that for another time, but I'm going to be working less on the show in the future. And now I'm going to get an exercise bike and start watching shows and be more relevant. And so when you said Silicon Valley, the reason I brought this up is because part of what I want out of this is not just to be entertained, but also to feel more relevant.
Okay.
And I feel like, so in terms of shows that people reference a lot, or maybe are like very memeable, quotable kind of shows, Silicon Valley, what you just said, trip that switch. I'm wondering if you think It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia should, using that logic, be another show. Because I feel like people talk about that a lot.
It's funny. I watched the first 3 or 4 seasons. I mean, they've been out for 15 years. It was probably more. I watched it for a long time. And then I don't know why I stopped. It wasn't, I don't know why. It was always funny.
Mm-hmm.
And now they're on their like 15th season. So, but yeah, I mean, it's one of those that I know it's out there. I know the people who were on it. I know the gist. I think that was kind of, there wasn't a conscious decision to not watch it anymore. It just, I think it's when FX went to FXX, and then that went to FXX, and I was like, I got a lot of stuff that I record anyway. So I just stopped. You know what? Here's one that this may surprise. These two may surprise you because they're network comedies.
Yeah.
I really enjoy, and I didn't start watching this until like this, I don't know, 3rd season maybe. The Goldbergs. And
Goldbergs.
The Goldbergs and Blackish on ABC. They
Blackish,
are
I've
both
heard is really funny.
They are both really funny. And it's one of those you don't have to invest a lot of time or thought into them. On the bike they'd be perfect because it's just like, oh yeah, whatever. And then you're just pedaling along.
Okay.
But those would be like second tier.
See, you mentioned ABC, and then the first thing I just remembered I need to add is The Good Place.
Oh, that's one that we watched during the pandemic. We
All
caught
right.
up on a bunch of shows during the pandemic. One was The Good Place, and it was definitely worthwhile.
Mhm.
It was one of those, and Schitt's Creek. We hadn't watched that until the pandemic. And I was sad when both of those were over. It was like, oh, we've watched all of those. Now I'm in my second viewing of Silicon Valley because Debbie hadn't seen it the first time.
Oh, nice.
So I didn't watch it when it was on HBO. Then Molly was talking about it, and I watched it. And then Debbie saw an episode, and so now we're rewatching the series again. We're almost done. But yeah, those are good. Good Place was excellent.
Yeah.
I'm trying to
Is
think
Good
what
Place
other
an hour
comedies.
long? The Good Place
Nope.
is an hour show.
No, I don't
Are
think
you
so.
serious?
I think they're all just half hours.
Oh my God. Also, Adam Carlin just jumped in the chat. What We Do in the Shadows on Hulu.
I've heard of that. I haven't. It's like a comedic vampire show.
Casey and I went to a feature at the Music Box Theater, and I don't remember if it was only What We Do in the Shadows or if there were like 2 or 3 shorter films lumped together. But we saw What We Do in the Shadows, the movie that this show is based off of, and it is complete. Like, think of this as Spinal Tap.
Yeah.
But instead of a rock band, it's vampires.
Really?
You've got to watch the movie. Like,
okay, because I've
movie.
seen about 2 episodes of the show, but they were current, so I didn't know what was going on.
Okay.
I forget why I had them on, but I was like, I didn't know what was going on because I hadn't watched it from the beginning.
Okay.
But I've heard good things.
Yeah, no, Adam, I appreciate that recommendation. But Brian, you should watch What We Do in the Shadows. Just watch the movie. It's really good for Halloween, but like any time of year, it is so. If you like Spinal Tap,
I do.
It's so funny. And apparently they're the producers of the show. That makes sense. Yeah, it was very funny in the theaters. Yellowstone also, someone said in the chat. Didn't you watch that?
I am watching it. Oh, season 4. Just I had to say. So Debbie's not here. The season finale was Sunday night, which we taped or recorded. I couldn't wait 2 weeks to watch it. I had to watch it, knowing that Debbie will be able to watch it while I'm at school when she comes back.
All right.
Okay. So, but Yellowstone is an hour.
All right.
Hour. But if you're watching it probably without commercials, then it's down to 44 minutes.
Sure.
Like the behind the thing. I'm trying to think. I just saw, but these are hour. This week, I've done nothing but watch movies. And that's not true. But I've watched at night a lot of movies because nobody's here. And I keep harping on the fact that nobody's here. So let me get this out of the way why nobody's here. So I mentioned it quick when we were together last time. Debbie's mom died right before Christmas. And so Debbie was down there for a week or so. She was there, thankfully, when her mom passed away. So she got to, she was there when it happened. And then the funeral and stuff. So she stayed and got some stuff done. Well, she's back down there now for 2 weeks to finish getting everything out. Her mom rented a place. So they're getting everything out and donating everything and finishing up all the paperwork and doing all that. So she left early January 1st, like 8 o'clock in the morning on January 1st, and left. So, and Molly also, since they both work remotely, they took their computers. Molly's down there now. She's staying till like a week from tomorrow. Debbie's staying till like I'm looking at the calendar, like the 14th. Debbie's staying till. So she's got about another 10 days. And that's why I'm here by myself. So if you want to cook me a casserole or come over and, just hug me, I'm very lonely and the dogs don't care. But I'm kidding. The dogs care because I'm the one who lets them out and feeds them. Gidget's getting very upset though, because Since now next week it'll go back to normal where I'm getting up at 6 o'clock and, going back to work. But this week I'm off. So, I'm back. I have realized, and I knew that I've known this my whole life. This is why I didn't mind working the overnight shift, because I've always worked best at night because I did stand up. I was always working at night. I did radio at first overnight. I love to stay up late. I love it. I don't know why, because most people are asleep. And since I don't like most people, I don't have to deal with them because they're asleep. So I've fallen back into this over the last 2 weeks since school got out, where I'm staying up. Now, when Debbie was here and over the holidays and stuff, I was still getting up, at 8 o'clock, which is late for some people, late for me on a normal basis, but still early. Because when you're on vacation, what are you getting up early for? What do you got to do? Well, this week now I have to get up early, or I have to get up because the dogs are here. So no matter how late I stay up, it's like your son. Your son doesn't care if you stay up all night.
Mm-hmm.
He's on a schedule. And I'm not equating my dogs with your son by any stretch of the imagination, but the experience is the same. There's someone in your house who doesn't care that you want to sleep.
And eats everything on the floor.
Yes. And now, at least with your son, if you don't get up and take care of him, he'll just poop in his pants.
Right.
Which is uncomfortable for him. If I don't get up, the dogs will poop in the living room. And that is uncomfortable for me.
It's very uncomfortable.
Because I have had in the past the horrible experience of coming down in the morning, not looking down as I walk through the room and stepping.
Oh,
It's been a long time, and it's only happened twice in all the years we've had dogs, but that's enough.
No.
Yes. It's
Not
horrific.
okay.
No. Well, there's times when if they're sick, I don't get mad. And if they've been, like they'll go out tonight, I'll let them out about 11 for the final, the potty for bedtime. So they'll go out about 11. Now, I'm not going to bed at 11. I probably, I might watch Things We Do in the Shadows. Who knows what I'm going to watch, but I'm watching something because I've been watching all kinds of stuff, documentaries and dramas and comedies and a lot of behind Dark Side of the Ring stuff. I just watched The Final Days of Owen Hart. Almost brought me to tears.
Oh,
horrific.
God.
But the dogs, like Lawson doesn't care. Lawson doesn't have to go out. I don't know what he's made of inside of him, but it doesn't really generate all that much waste. Because he could go like twice a day. He'll go out and I have to beg him.
Wow.
And then the weird thing, I should have asked Steve. I'll have to ask Steve Dale about this. He covers his stuff now that it snowed. Normally, he doesn't like to go in the grass. He's a weirdo. He'll go just a step off the sidewalk into the grass to take care of his business. But now that it's snowed, he'll run out in the yard and he'll do it. But it doesn't matter if it's one or two. He finishes, then he circles it, he walks around it, and then he takes his nose and he throws snow over it. So he buries his waste.
With his nose?
He doesn't touch his waste with his nose, but he uses his nose to scoop snow up over.
He doesn't paw the snow. He uses his nose in the cold snow.
And then he runs back to the door like, dude, you got to let me in. It's freezing. I'm like, yeah, because you were rolling around in the snow like a lunatic. Wow. So that was, thank you to the folks who were sending condolences about my mother-in-law. It's been no secret that she and I didn't have the best relationship, but I felt horrible for Debbie and her sisters and for Molly. And, so it was sad, but I appreciate the thoughts. That's very nice. So yeah, he is trying to cover his scent, Marta, but but he doesn't do that. The only other dog that picks up his scent is Gidget, and he poops and pees in front of her all the time anyway. So his scent is always in the yard.
Wow.
And he doesn't, like Walter, Molly's dog, when he goes, he'll kick with his back legs some dirt up. Gidget doesn't bother, but Lawson, it's just funny because he's so lazy, but in the snow, he has to take that extra step to take care of, cover up some business. Just,
And lest anyone worry that Brian is completely isolated during
isolated
this sojourn, I kept him company for well, mostly my son, frankly.
Your son
Brian,
entertains me to no end.
Brian very kindly drove all the way out to my home, all the way in the western coast of Chicagoland, to bring some very, very wonderful gifts that he has been playing with a lot.
Is he good?
And that was very kind of you. And hang out with me and the missus for a little while. I wish you could.
Yeah, that was very nice.
Well, I wish I didn't have I had to walk away
thing.
for a radio thing, and then and then it was like, well, okay, I guess I should go. But you would have been more than welcome to stay for.
Oh,
next
thank
time
you.
Come for dinner or something. Well,
listen, no, I didn't want to intrude, but we had been trying to get over with your son's Christmas present, and we were trying to do it before Debbie left, but then things got crazy last week. I go to get my oil changed, and they tell me, "Oh, your back brakes are metal on metal." I'm like, "What?" He goes, "Yeah, you want us to do it? It'll be." I go, "No, I don't want you to do it. Jiffy Lube. I'm not going to have you do my brakes. No slam on Jiffy Lube. I go there for my oil changes. That's really all I want them to do. Oil changes, filters, light bulb, maybe a wiper now and then.
Maybe a little happy ending. Just
sure. Oh man, if I could, but now they don't even let you touch the door handle. They're not going to touch my junk or my car. Good morning.
You just got to put some chrome on it. Hi-oh. Let's go.
Can you put a high buff of wax on there? I think you can. I don't want it to spot. Anyway, so I called because I was doing TMJ a couple days last week. WTMJ. Yes, I'll be there Thursday night from 6 to 8. So jump on there. I should throw that up. I'll throw that up later.
I was on your television show on the Friday last.
My radio show.
So
man, if I had a TV show, that would be great. I'd invite you on too. Yeah, I had you on as a science communicator. You did communicate some science. It was hilarious.
See, and this is the thing. Going back to 2.
Uh-oh, you froze up. Oh no, what happened to Cody? He's all froze up. This is what happens when the internet comes into play. I'm going to turn his camera off for a minute, and I'll keep watching. Now you just get to see me full screen. Maybe that's not the best idea, but I don't want you to see Cody frozen like that because he doesn't seems to be in agony when he's frozen. I'm going to text him. Just maybe he doesn't know. That would be horrible. If you have any other suggestions for Cody for his 30-minute cycling TV shows, because I know I'm forgetting some. I know there's going to be, how did I forget? I'll have to tell him. He's got to watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. The science might have got him, Tom. That is correct. Marta thinks he disconnected. He's going to come back. Probably have wild animals going through your yard and possibly other pets and feral animals. I don't think we have big fence. We have big fence. We have a big fence all the way around. Now, I know that there's some cats in the neighborhood. So there have been some cats run through there. We have had a possum in the yard. So maybe that's it. But I still don't. Like I said, I never see him try to bury his scent. I never see him bury his scent when there's no snow on the ground. So there he is. I think he might have just been drunk. Were you just drunk? Did you turn everything off? Tom said science got you.
Science probably got me.
You froze up. I got another show for you while I was talking.
What happened?
Curb Your Enthusiasm. You got to put that on your list.
Is that good?
Oh, dude, stop it. Is it that good? Yes. Put it on the list.
All right, put it on the list. What I was saying.
Yes.
I don't remember what I was saying. It doesn't matter. Yes, I was on your show as science communicator. See, I'm doing it to myself. I do it to myself, Brian. I do it to myself. I come on this. I come on Realities May Vary, and I'm like,
I know, and you froze again. No, I asked you, and I don't know if you can hear me, and if not, I don't know what's going on with your intranets. It might be that it's getting cold. I think the weather is going to cause some problems with the intranets. But I texted Cody Friday morning. I was doing WTMJ from noon to 3 last week on Thursday and Friday, and I had asked Cody to come on because I was the conceit of Friday's show was I was talking to experts from different fields about their top stories of the last year. I know it seems kind of radio hacky, and but it was fun to talk. I talked to Cody about science. I talked to Steve Dale about pets. I talked to Vince Vitrano, a WTMJ TV anchor, who is going to be hosting the morning show soon. So we talked about news stories, and then I talked to a sports guy up there about the big sports stories. So it was interesting and fun, and we did all of that, and then got to talk to Belinda Chang about sparkling wines and champagnes and all that. But I texted Cody. All that being said, I texted Cody that morning. I said, "How do you want me to introduce you?" And he sent me a text that said that he is a science communicator, and he is the executive host and producer of the Curiosity podcast, and blah, blah, blah. So that's how I introduced him. Now he feels trapped by this brand, this label that he is a science communicator. I think that's fine. I think it would be fine to be a science communicator. Now he's not talking to himself, Marta. He's restarting his computer again. I still think it's hilarious, and I'm going to jinx myself by saying this, that he is the big computer whiz and technical guru, and he's the one having trouble. But it's out of our control. That's the thing. I live in constant fear because between the radio and this and all the other things I do, if my internet starts screwing up, I'll be SOL.
This has never happened. I don't know.
I know, it's really weird.
Yeah, I'm very upset.
All right, I was explaining that Friday when you came on my WTMJ show, I asked you how you wanted to be introduced.
Mm-hmm.
And you told me you were a science communicator.
Yeah.
And now you seem to be chafing at that label.
No, here's the deal. If you're out there, hire me. It's because behind the mic, I've done a bunch of like digital content strategy and like big picture like strategy development for like these big corporations. Like there's a lot of creatives, right, who are like a creative person. They're like, I can host a show, I can produce a show, but like I like have built a lot of the back end like corporate strategy structure stuff for a couple like big brands, and that gets lost because I think people have a bias. I think there's a stereotype. I think that there is an assumption that you are either a creative or you're the business person, right? Like you're the business person that can be a director of something or be like a VP or something of something, right? And like I'm at the point in my career kind of where I've done enough Curiosity Daily. Like that is the peak of my podcasting effort. Just below Realities May Vary, right? Like Realities May Vary and Curiosity. Like I can't go up from here, right? Like I'm not that good, right? I'm not a Brian Noonan. I'm not a whatever, whoever else is success. I'm not a Joe Rogan, right? Like I'm just me, and that's fine. I'm ready to go over to the management kind of stuff. And
suit. You want to be a suit?
I want to be a suit, and people don't see that. People see me as the guy that does the stuff, and I'm like, no, I can be the guy that tells the people how to do the stuff really well and helps them do the stuff. But that doesn't get so anyway. I'm like undergoing a rebrand on LinkedIn, and I've been posting a bunch on LinkedIn and Twitter and stuff. And I don't know if there's any CEOs watching this. I'm just saying, if you want some podcast strategy, hook me. You know, I got it. You know,
Cody can do both. I am just the creative, which is probably not true. But I have the same issues as you, where if you do one thing and you do it pretty well, that's all you could do.
Yeah.
Which is not true.
Right.
You know, it is not true. So, but yeah. So, well, listen, I thought it was I meant it as nothing but a superlative. And it was fun. So thank you for coming on the show. Cause you had some great science stories that were very accessible and very fun. And I think fit your brand of science communicator very well.
Thank you. Do you love being a radio guest?
I do, because, well, it depends. Yes, because I don't feel then any really pressure or responsibility. And that's from a purely cocky attitude that I know I can be engaging and entertaining. So I don't, and people ask me to be a guest for my personality and I'm not an expert in anything. They're not having me on to talk about, biophysics or ethical science. They're
I don't know
having
what
me
that is.
on to have crazy takes and be funny.
Yeah.
So yes, I can do that. And that's the big challenge of trying to host a show where I have to talk about serious stuff sometimes too. It's the real radio shows. It's like, okay, I can still be funny and, like we always were, but then you also have to cover serious stuff, which I do. And I think I do okay. But that's the other hurdle for like me, as you're talking about people putting you in a box. I'm the funny guy.
Yeah.
So, but yes, why do you not like being a guest?
No. I
Because you're
love
a very
being
good,
guest.
you're a very good guest.
No. That's what I'm saying. Like I like I'm almost a better guest than I am host in a lot of ways. Like to me, I kind of like interpret it like an improv game, kind of. Cause you never know what they'll throw at you, and then
Right.
throw you a question. You gotta like boom, 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 and whether you're talking like science facts or being brought on for your personality, you've got to feel somewhat the same way, right? Where you're like, you don't know what they're gonna throw at you, and then you gotta like react, and you get to just like throw in your personality. And I don't know. I think
you were
being a
very
guest.
good at it, and I had asked you to have a couple stories ready, and you did, but then us being us, you were able to roll with, if you had your stuff and you were confident in that, and then you were also confident in rolling with it if I threw you something offbeat or made a comment about not having robot butlers.
Right. Which you should have. Come on.
I did. We should have robot butlers.
Rosie from the Jetsons, who didn't have a crush on her?
Oh man, her oval head. She looked like a toaster.
I think those are called her ovaries.
And sometimes improv is hard.
It fails also sometimes.
A lot of times it fails.
Did I just get canceled? I think I just got canceled.
You will. Give it a couple minutes. Once I upload this tomorrow, you'll get canceled. That's when.
Man.
Yeah, that's when things are going to be canceled. So yeah, I thought you did great, but to answer your question again, I love being a guest.
Yeah. No, that's right. I used to.
That's when I was on the road. That was my favorite, because I'd go in and just go in like a tornado and just, because it doesn't. You're bringing me in to do this. That's what I do. I come in, I do my thing. How was your Christmas? We haven't talked since, I saw you quickly yesterday, but I was entertaining your son, or your son was entertaining me. Have I mentioned he's adorable?
He's
adorable.
He kills us. Like, he kills me every day. He just kills me every time.
He was having a conversation, or no, he wasn't having a conversation. He was putting on a performance. It took him his customary 5 minutes to realize I wasn't there to kill everybody.
Mm-hmm.
Once he did, I just kind of slid his gifts over. I didn't make him come over or anything. I just kind of put him near you. And then he was like, but then he got up, and it was like he was in Inherit the Wind and was giving the closing arguments at the end. He was like Clarence Darrow. He was walking around the living room, talking nonstop, moving his hands up and down. He had a message. He was trying to convince the jury of something. We didn't know what he was saying. He loved saying it. I loved hearing it. I wish we had a baby translator that could take what he was saying, because he does know how to say open now. And what was the other? Oh wow, was that the other one?
Oh wow. Oh wow.
Yeah, a lot of things. Oh wow. And he likes the dog sound.
Yes. When he hears a dog, like the neighbor's dog barks outside, he goes like woof woof. It's so cute. It's so cute. Oh,
so
God.
Did Santa come? Did you guys have a nice Christmas?
Santa was pretty good. It was great. It was he would open. Excuse me. He's a little young, right? He's only a little over a year. Yeah. So he didn't quite have the focus. So he understood the concept of opening when we would get. It's a great miracle that one of his first 3 words consistently is open. He yells open, and he pulls Legos apart, or he'll open a box. Or the first thing he yelled open with was, we gave him I think it was floss, we had some floss that you could open the lid.
Worst Christmas ever.
He would run around with this floss, and he'd open, and he'd open the floss, and then he'd shut it, and then he'd yell, "Open!" Anyway. So,
he does like dental hygiene because he had a toothbrush with him for most of our visit yesterday.
He also likes to brush his teeth. He'll yell and want the toothbrush, but he wants the toothbrush in one hand and the toothpaste in the other hand.
Well, they go together.
They do. So anyway, my Christmas was great. I actually got the most joy out of my giving. I gave the coup de grace present this year.
What was it?
So my whole family finishes opening their gifts. I went to my parents' house. We're opening our gifts on Christmas Day. And I was like, all right, everybody go down to the family room if you want to see what I got Mom. So inspiration struck like 4 days before Christmas.
All right.
There was you watch Saturday Night Live, right?
I do.
Did you see the sketch about what grandma wants for Christmas?
Oh, the grandchild.
The grandchild.
The grandchild. Yes,
yeah.
I did. It was very funny.
Yes, Kate McKinnon and the other girl.
80 Bryant.
And they played grandmothers, and they're like, okay, what do you want for Christmas? And they're like, grandchildren. And the whole sketch is just a joke about how all they want is grandchildren. So my mom sent me that, ironically, which is funny.
But you gave her a grandchild already.
I already had. So she sent me that, but I thought about it for a while. So my mom is, like in that sketch, notoriously hard to shop for. I mean, my parents have everything they need. They don't want more stuff. Every time I go there, they want to give me a bin of stuffs, right? So I get them chocolates every year, but then I was like, what else could I do? So I realized I was like, my wife and my mom both have all these little 30-second, 2-minute clips of my baby from the last year that they got to scroll for, finding their phone. All this stuff. So I spent 10 or more hours. I went through all my Google Photos. I downloaded a bunch of videos, like all the highlight videos, like best videos. And I edited together a 12-minute highlight reel of my baby for the first year. And there's little captions on it that say, there's little captions that are like September 2020. When he was born, right? Like October, 1 month old. And then after a few months, I start to say like February, like 5 months old. Is that right? October, November, December, January, February, 5 months old, March, 6 months old, And so whenever it goes, it's all chronological. So they're all like 3 to 10-second clips, and it comprises this like 12-minute video with all his kind of milestones, some of his first walking, a couple other captions like him climbing stairs, and it's like this little caption. It's like, remember, he's only 7 months old, that he's like climbing the stairs. And it was a hit. It was a great
very
hit.
Nice.
Yeah. So that was my highlight, was giving that to my mom. And I knew obviously my wife would enjoy it equally, right? Because of course it's her baby. So, but also kind of everyone in the family, but also him someday.
Yes.
I don't think he'll care that much, but like, it's there, right? It's there. If you want to see your first year, that's where you came from. And it's just really special. It was cool. It was really nice. And that was like it for me.
Very nice.
Yeah. And as for him, we wanted him to open presents at home. So the day before Christmas Eve, he did that. Christmas Eve, we went to my sister's. Christmas Day, we woke up my parents. Every day he's opening presents. He eventually got through them like 3 days after Christmas. We didn't shower him with gifts. It's just that everyone in the extended family got him one gift.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. That's how it was when Molly was born.
Yeah.
Everybody's, now all of a sudden it's not just Santa. It's grandma and grandpa on both sides. It's everybody, aunts, uncles, everybody. So yeah. And then he got to keep opening them yesterday.
Yeah.
Two more
And
yesterday.
then he brought them over. And fortunately, thank God, because it could be a precarious position where you teach them how to open presents, which means rip paper off things.
Right.
And then what if they don't understand what if they just start ripping everything, right? We somehow surpassed that. He has not been ripping everything, but when you came over, I think he recognizes a present now, when it's got the gift wrap, and I yell open a bunch of times and point at it. He knows it's time to.
But even then he was careful.
Mm-hmm.
He did all right. Well, that's good. It's not, man, I bet your mom loved that.
It was she and my wife have both watched it several times.
Well, that's something.
Proud of it.
Yes, you should be. You actually put work into it.
I did. That's the thing. If it's the thought that counts, then I certainly put the thought into it.
Well, that's we did my mom's because everybody was going to be out of town except for my brother Kieran and my nieces. So on the 23rd, Molly and I went over to my brother's house and brought my nieces their Christmas presents, and they really enjoyed it. So then the 24th, we got up and we had talked to my mom, and we were going to spend the morning. We brought brunch over and her gifts and stuff, and we were going to just hang there for Christmas Eve because we had decided we'd just do Christmas, just the three of us. But last year, when nobody could mingle at all, my mom had decided she didn't want to stay home. She went to everybody's house. So she came to our house on Christmas Eve, like during the day last year for a little bit, and we sat with the patio doors open. Remember when you couldn't get together with anybody. We had the breeze blowing, it was freezing and all that. So we were like, that was fun because we got to see you open your gifts, and there weren't a lot of people there talking and screaming and blah, blah, blah. So we go over there with breakfast. Debbie had made an egg bake, and we brought orange juice and champagne to make mimosas. And she loves chocolate donuts from Weber's Bakery. So on the way, I had ordered stuff from Weber's, and we went down and we got her, some chocolate donuts to go, and we had her gifts, and we had a really nice time. We stayed there for, a while, and we had brunch, and she loved the mimosas. She had taken out, like, she hadn't set a Christmas table in a long time, but we got there and the dining room table had the cloth and the Spode Christmas dishes and all this stuff. So she was very excited. And like some of the stuff last year, I had made her a calendar with every month she loves the dog. She loves taking care of our dogs. And now she likes Walter and my brother's dog. So we had made her a calendar that had all the dogs on it throughout the year. Well, Patrick and Kieran didn't have their dogs last year. So my nieces, every time they went to my mom's, they'd see the calendar like, well, where's Bear? Why isn't he on here? Well, you didn't have. So anyway, made her a new one this year. Every dog got their own month. And then there were some collages. And then there was a nice picture that got taken on Thanksgiving of her with her granddaughters. And we made that into a puzzle because we're trying to keep her mind occupied. Last year we made her one, but we got it with the really big pieces because we were like, one, we didn't know if she'd like to do it. So if they were the really big, like 2-year-old pieces, so this year we were able to make the pieces smaller and some other stuff. But at the end, she was like, I really like this tradition. Can we do this every year? I was like, yeah, I like traditions. And we had been trying to explain to Molly, why, because there were some things like that we kept that we take out for Christmas. And she's like, why do you still put that out? And it's like, cause it's, that's what Christmas is.
Tradition.
Yeah, it is tradition. So we started the new tradition now. It actually started last year. We cemented it this year. So now Christmas Eve brunch with my mom is a tradition. Christmas Day. So then we come home and we had been debating what to order. We were going to get Chinese food. That was because we used to get Chinese food on Christmas Eve. Then last year we ordered Italian, but anyway, we get home, we start calling the Chinese place. Well, they're so busy, they're not even answering the phone anymore. So now I'm like, oh, here we go. But then we called an audible. We got Thai from the Thai place. Close enough, right? I guess.
Well, no, it's not.
No, it's not.
They're different. They're entirely different.
They are entirely. Well, there was rice in both. So that's,
okay.
That's it.
Well,
that's
the
as
Chinese
close.
Stuff has all the sugar, and the Thai stuff has all.
I love the Thai food. I love it. So it was like I was not that disappointed. We had thought Chinese because that was kind of tradition.
Right.
But we never order Chinese food anymore. We only order Thai food now. So we got the Thai food. It was great. Debbie and Molly, I had wrapped presents like Wednesday and Thursday. So that was all done. Debbie and Molly go to bed as they always do. I pour myself a Bailey's and I watch Bad Santa. That's always the way. After I still now see Molly for questioning me on different things. Still makes me read The Night Before Christmas before she goes to bed. She's 25. She's like, you got to read the book. I'm like, okay, because it's out.
Nice.
We have it out, so I read the book. Debbie and Walter go to bed. Gidget goes up to sleep in the office, and Lawson lays down on the couch. He doesn't say anything to me, so he doesn't mind watching Bad Santa. Watch Bad Santa. Christmas Day was phenomenal because Debbie and Molly both liked all their stuff, which was great. I had actually, this year for the first time, I had told them something that I wanted. And one of them is this. I'm wearing, I don't know if you can see it.
It's a Fred's sweater. It's a sweater and it says Fred's Dance Barn.
Fred's Dance Barn. It was a place that I spent a million Saturdays at during college. It was, think of Porky's without the strippers. It was a bar, literally a barn in the middle of nowhere, like way outside Carbondale, where we had to drive down 2-lane roads, past some lakes into the woods. And it was a giant barn where you could bring your own booze. And we would bring kegs. We would bring beer, and it was country. And it was a mix of locals and college kids. And they'd have a live band. And then they installed a bull at one point. And they'd have some dance lessons. So I learned a two-step and Cotton Eye Joe and all these dances. And we went so often that they started using my name in the ads. It's like, come out Saturday, join the Noonan party, or hoedown lessons. If Noonan can do it, you can too. Yep, they had both kinds of music, Mike, country and Western. And
wow.
And it was crazy. And so it burned down years ago. And the alumni association or some alumni group at Southern did one of those silkworm shops where they offer some things, different, one was this. And so it came in November and I was like, oh, so I said to Debbie, I go, you always ask me. I said, here's the link. Here's the link. Here's the size for this. And then I got a quarter zip with a Saluki head embroidered on it.
Nice.
And they were inexpensive. And I knew, this would ease their suffering because I had given them an idea, So of course it got delivered while Debbie was down in North Carolina. I knew. So the package came and it said silkworm and I was like, woohoo, they got it. So I was very excited. And Debbie kind of understood. Molly didn't really understand it, but it was just, and then I posted a picture of it on this SIU group that I'm in. And like 400 people were like, oh my God, that's because it was one of those places. I just loved it. So that was nice. And then, Debbie, like I said, Debbie was really happy with all her stuff, and Molly, and the dogs liked their treats and their stuffed animals. And they did something for me that was, I've always had this dream that I know is probably never going to come true. And it was for a business, but not here. I always wanted to, and I don't know why I didn't. I always wanted to move somewhere warm and open a little bar on the beach. That was really all I wanted to do. And years ago, I came up with the name, and I had an idea for the logo and everything. I just didn't have the money or the business acumen to move to Aruba and open a beach bar. They got a friend of ours who's an artist, and they made a pub sign for this bar with the name. And they worked on my original logo concept, but they couldn't. The artist was like, they ran through, I guess they went through a bunch of different logos to try to match the name. And so it was the last thing, and I'm opening this up and I'm like, what the hell did they do? What is this? Because I see just a metal, like an L brace, for an ornate kind of angle that something would hang from.
Yeah.
And then I pulled the tissue off and I just yelled, it's my bar. And it was phenomenal.
Wow.
And the only people who knew the name of the bar are Debbie and Molly, and now my friend who they hired to do the sign. And I made, I was like, oh my, and they start telling me the story. And then someday I'll have to show you, I got a picture of one of the logos and they're like, we had to trash this one because it looked like the logo had balls. And I was like, all right, well, and they're telling me this story. And then I text my friend and I'm like, I can't believe, thank you so much for being, she was like, it was so nice that I was honored that they asked me to be part of this and how important it was to you. I'm so glad you like it. And then she sends me one of the drawings of the one that looked like it had balls. And I was like,
wow.
Oh yeah, you're right. You really couldn't do that. So it's now I just have to figure out either where to hang it here or I have to move and open a bar. So if you're an investor or you I have a great concept for a little beach bar. Nothing fancy. But
a lot of beaches out there. A lot of beaches out there.
A lot of beaches, a lot of people.
English speaking country.
That's true. That's true. I don't have to stay in the US of A. I can be an expat.
No. Expat it up.
Take my Fred's Dance Barn sweatshirt and move to another country.
Yeah.
Just start hawking booze on the beach.
Yeah.
Simple concept. Very simple.
Do it.
But anyway, yeah. So it was very nice. And then I cooked Christmas dinner and we, Christmas dinner turned out great and we ate early. So we were done and then we watched movies. It was very lovely. It was, and from being, knowing me for all these years that the 26th is actually my day.
Yeah.
And normally I do not, I have commitments on the 26th. I had no commitments this year.
Nice.
I would like to say I did nothing. I did nothing that I didn't choose to do.
Right.
Like I think I did a load of laundry and I picked up some stuff around the house, but I also took a nap and I watched a couple movies and, then I ate leftovers and it was great. So the 26th was fantastic. And now we're here and, we're moving along. But
no, I thought of you because my wife typically teaches a yoga class and a Pilates class on Sundays downtown in Chicago.
Okay.
And Christmas Day was a Saturday, which meant that the next day would be a Sunday, right? And she, like a month ago, was like putting in her ability for the classes and stuff. And she's like, well, yeah, we can leave Rockford, like early the next day, right? And I can drive into Chicago and teach a yoga. And I was like, no. Absolutely under no circumstances am I waking up before 10 a.m. if I don't have to on the day after Christmas, and you are not driving 2 hours, whatever. Whatever. It would have been an hour and a half, but you're not driving an hour or so into the city like first in the morning. Like that's not.
No.
And she's like, well, I can just drive in. And I was like, well, then how are the baby and I going to get home?
Then you got to come back. You want to come back to Rockford and get us? That's cool.
Yeah, no, I was like, please don't do that. It said, she took the day off, which, she deserved. And I also deserved.
Everybody deserves. The 26th should just be automatic. Everybody gets to do whatever they want. I tried to celebrate Boxing Day. I don't even know what it is. I punched somebody, but that's a Canadian thing, but I'll take it. I'll co-opt the Canadian society or their traditions. All about traditions.
And so, well, your Christmas went really great. How about
Christmas
your New Year's
went great.
Eve?
New Year's Eve was, I did the show with you. Then, it was fine. Went down, watched a movie. Then Debbie and I did Molly had dropped off Walter. What did we watch on New Year's Eve? Wow. Oh, we watched Being the Ricardos. How
was it?
I liked it. It was okay. It wasn't, it was good. It was better than okay. It was good. Okay. I liked Javier Bardem. I thought was a great Ricky Ricardo. I thought Nicole Kidman did a pretty good job for, to be Lucy. So that was good. The woman who played Vivian Vance, I had just watched on the show Goliath, which is a law show, but there's a great show. Billy Bob Thornton stars in it, but it's an hour. So I know that goes against your bike riding show stuff. Sure. But so it was good. And then, now what's his name? He's in everything. He played the guy who played Fred Mertz, J.K. Simmons.
Okay.
He's been in, he was in Oz. He was in everything. J.K. Simmons. So that was good. We watched that. We got sushi like we always, that's Debbie and my tradition for New Year's Eve. Got our sushi, drank some wine, we drank sparkling wine. We had Prosecco with our sushi because we're fancy that way. Oh, sure. Molly had dropped off Walter and gone to her friend's house. And then like I said, by 10 o'clock, Debbie was in bed asleep because she was getting up early to drive down to North Carolina the next morning. Molly was coming back to the house after her friend's place. And so I stayed up watching TV, watched all the local coverage of New Year's Eve, drank my pecan pie martinis, rang in the new year by myself. And, other people were in the house, but nobody was awake. Kissed myself at midnight.
Pecan pie martini.
Dude, it is phenomenal.
Sounds great.
It is. Now, the first day I found this recipe and I was like, oh, I got to get it. So, but we didn't have martini glasses. So Debbie had ordered a set of 4 like Art Deco looking martini glasses before Christmas. So you rim the glass with caramel and chopped pecans. Then it's rum chata, bourbon, and cream de cocoa.
Oh my God.
And it's a creamy deliciousness. And then now I left this part out, but you're supposed to put a dollop of Cool Whip and then a half a pecan floating in there. But the drink itself is so good. And I was like, if I'm going dry January, I'm going out in style.
Yeah.
So I was sitting, I'm sitting in my pajama pants in the big chair. Everybody's asleep and I'm holding a martini glass like I'm the Lord of the Manor. Like it's Bridgerton in a trailer park. I was just like, woohoo. And then midnight comes and, I tell Spike looks up. I go, happy, or Lawson. Spike's been gone for a while.
Yeah. That's like,
Spike's, Spike's, and Walter was asleep upstairs with Debbie. So I'm like, Happy New Year, Lawson. And that was it. That was New Year's.
Wow.
And then
that
they
sounds
left. It was, delicious. The drink is delicious. Sometime we'll have to do it. But
on the way to the podcast, I turned to my wife and I said, I don't know I was like, I kind of feel like a drink during the show.
Yeah.
But I don't want to pop up in like a Bourbon County or anything. So I was like, I kind of want a cocktail. And we were trying to think of good winter cocktails. And I've got eggnog, although we're out of brandy.
Oh.
I almost made an eggnog and Cavassier.
Wow.
Because I have Cavassier.
Okay.
I sniffed it and I was like, I feel like this would be kind of in the same vein. I don't know. They're both bourbon based, right? I don't know.
No, Courvoisier isn't. I've enjoyed Courvoisier in the past. It's more orange. I think it's an orange liqueur.
Is it? It's
I believe
Courvoisier branded cognac.
Yes,
it's a brand. Yeah, it's the cognac.
Cognac, I think has.
What is cognac?
Cognac
is a type of brandy produced from distilled white wine.
Okay.
I don't know.
Anyway,
I was like, maybe I'll do the eggnog in cognac. And then I was like, well, I don't know about that. And then we started thinking about recipes and for like a sipping drink, right? Like I didn't want something in a little tumbler that'd be gone in 10 minutes. I wanted a larger sipping drink. Could think of a lot of good winter cocktails. What's on your winter cocktail list?
Well, now that you've brought this up, and I just did this, a Courvoisier eggnog drink recipe: mix eggnog and butterscotch schnapps in a glass or mug. Add Courvoisier cognac to taste. Sprinkle with nutmeg.
Well, I don't have butterscotch schnapps.
All right, neither do I. For winter, I don't know. I like this. The problem with these drinks, one, the pecan pie martini, as you can imagine, is very sweet because it's rum chata and cream de cocoa.
I can do sweet though,
but these were good. That's a nice wintry drink. I also have. I'm planning ahead to February. I have a bottle of this apple pie whiskey that I bought in Colorado. That's almost a little too sweet to drink straight. So I'm trying to figure out what to mix it with. And I might go ginger ale. I might do something else to create some sort of wintry apple cocktail, which would be good. Molly had found a recipe for Grinch punch, which was bright green, and then you rim the glass with red sugar.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah. Whipped cream vodka.
Whipped cream vodka?
I'm pretty sure Pinnacle. So Pinnacle Vodka actually pitched a marketing agency that I was working for a long time ago, our agency was pitching Pinnacle, and Pinnacle is a good vodka.
Okay.
Unassuming good vodka, right? Like it's very tasty vodka, but it comes in a plastic bottle, and you're like, oh, that's
Nice.
supposed to be lower quality. It's way better quality than a lot of vodka. I like Pinnacle vodka, Pinnacle whipped vodka. I knew they would exist. They've got Pinnacle vodka is just a good straight vodka, but
All
they
right.
have a lot of flavors, like dozens of flavors.
Really?
So the only whipped cream vodka you need to know, I'm looking at pinnaclevodka.com.
All right.
And yeah, Pinnacle whipped vodka. When you want a smooth vodka whipped up with the cream, I gotta put my birthday in to access this website. Because,
yeah, you got to prove that you're over 21.
right. Yeah, Pinnacle whipped. It's perfect for a smooth hot cocoa cocktail, mixing mighty White
Ooh.
Russians or creating easy sipping cocktails. But I'm saying, because you're saying you're with a well, hold on.
Well,
wait,
there's an
it's
apple whiskey, so I
it's
got
an apple whiskey. Oh, that
Yeah.
might be a bit much.
Yeah, that'd be too much. But I'll find
Um,
something. I would drink it on the rocks, because the other thing, I opened my first gift. It's a bottle of Koval bourbon. And Debbie and Molly have, because we like experiences, I have a distillery tour and tasting.
Oh,
Yes. And I had been talking about wanting to get those ice trays so I could get those big ice cubes, so you could put it in with your straight liquors. And I guess Molly panicked because I was at Binny's picking something up on the 23rd, and I asked if they had the trays for the big ice cubes. And she was like, yeah, they're over at the other end of the store. And I was like, I was tired. Let's just check out. I'll get it after. Molly breathed a sigh of relief, because they had not only a tray with the big square cubes, but a square with the ball cube, or a mold with the ball cube in it. So I can now make nice ice cubes. But yeah, so I think I may take in February, just go a little bit with some whiskey, just start drinking if I want a nice drink, a nice whiskey. Yeah. But I will have to finish up my, the rum chata and the cream de coco to make.
Well, you've got some time, which is nice.
I can plan it out. Yeah.
Marta in the chat saying glog. See, glog or glug, right? Isn't that the wine?
Yeah, that's like a mulled wine.
I love that stuff. But
do you really?
You don't like it?
I don't really. I don't.
Oh, love glog. Yeah, I went to a lot of parties in my early 20s that served glog, and I was
really.
Yeah.
Were you in Scandinavia?
I was.
Did you spend your early years in Scandinavia?
Lincoln Park in Chicago.
Really? A lot of hipsters drinking glog down there?
Yes, but see, I asked my wife about 6 minutes before the podcast, so we didn't have a lot of time to make glog.
Okay.
This was like what ingredients do we have that we can mix into a wintry drink? And
I know you have bourbon in your house. Just pour yourself a couple fingers of bourbon.
Well, I could have drank bourbon straight. Oh, that's true. I haven't been, I don't know, whatever. So, and then my wife opens the fridge and just hands me a beer and she's like, this? I'm like, yeah, okay, that's fair.
Yeah, that'll work.
Sally said, mix that apple bourbon into some steaming hot coffee or add it to hot chocolate. Great hot toddies.
I could make like hot toddies with it, but I don't know. I may just drink it straight.
Yeah.
It's one of these, it tasted, it was what we were in Estes Park, and it's a distillery right near there. So, they have the shop on the main street where all the tourist shops are and stuff. And they're giving away little samples. So Molly and I go in, and it's really early. Like the place had just opened, and he's like, you want some samples? I'm like, yeah, it's never too early to drink booze. So they pour the little thimble full of I bought 2 bottles. I bought the apple one, and then I bought one that's a winter. And even Molly was like, oh my God, I have to get a bottle of it. And Molly doesn't even drink. She's like, I have to get a bottle of this. Nice. So I was like, and I know the guy had heard this a million times. I was like, oh, thanks. These are great. We'll be back. And he's like, so, because I didn't want to carry 3 bottles of booze up and down all over as we're walking around. And this was on the way back. It was like really close to the hotel. So we had to pass him to go back. Anyway, we go back in, and I'm like, hey, we're back. He goes, you came back. I was like, yeah, I told you we were gonna. I'll take 2 bottles of that and a bottle of that. Like,
nice.
Okay. Thank you very much.
Very nice.
Yeah. So I don't know. Have just pour yourself something. I guess here's the thing. I'll drink whatever I want. Like If it's, I don't care. If it's 10 below zero and I want a Mai Tai, I'll make myself a Mai Tai. You know why? Because then in my mind, I'm somewhere else.
Yeah.
I'm somewhere far away. Molly was going to have, before my mother-in-law died, Molly had a party scheduled where everybody was going to make their own, everybody was going to bring their own signature cocktail, you know, and make some stuff up. So that's how I found this pecan pie martini, because she's like, I don't know what to make. And I started looking up some drink recipes and I was like, ooh, I'm saving this one for myself. I gave it to her, but then I made it myself. Then she didn't want to try it. I was like, okay, look fancy.
Now, what movie did you watch again on New Year's Eve?
Being the Ricardos.
That's right. I also watched a movie.
What did you watch?
Maybe you've seen it. Starship Troopers.
I have never seen it. I know of it. I've heard good things about it. I've heard weird things about it. I've never watched it. And I've been, like I said, this has been a week of me watching everything. So maybe I'll watch it. No, I won't watch it. Why'd you pick Starship Troopers?
I'm surprised you haven't seen it. Well, my friend John, my former co-host on Game Life Balance US.
Ah, yes.
Was visiting from Minneapolis. He was in town to see his parents, and he said, "Can I come over?" I said, "Sure." All our other friends, we had like 2 other friends that were gonna come on New Year's. Then Omicron scare, and then another friend was gonna come, and then he just blew us off. It was very weird New Year's, but John came, and that was great.
Nice.
And we had all been talking about watching Starship Troopers for a long time. So Starship Troopers is a parody of like fascist military culture.
Yes.
It's directed by Paul Verhoeven, who did RoboCop, which is also a parody of like all that stuff. RoboCop, excellent movie. He did Showgirls, which is maybe smarter than most people give it credit for, but either way, it is hilarious.
It made sex boring for me.
It is that's what my wife always said. It is the most unerotic movie she's ever seen with the most nudity. It's so, oh my God.
Horrific.
But he's directed a number of other films in like Total Recall, Starship Troopers, very infamous. So yeah, we watched it. Nice. I loved the first half.
Okay.
So Brian, in order to parody a like big budget, essentially meaningless plot action movie, you at some point need to reach a point where you just start doing mindless action scenes.
Sure.
And so the second half of the movie kind of is that.
Okay.
By necessity. And so like, you know what they're doing, and that makes it funny, but also you still have to then suffer through just like an hour of people shooting guns kind of mindlessly. And so like,
and there's monsters, right? Like some sort of robotic flies or something.
No, they're all alien bugs. So
all right.
By the end, I was like, this is enough. But the first half is hilarious. And overall, I think as a work of art or as a statement, it works. But yeah, like after the other thing is though, John doesn't live in Illinois. So in Illinois, there are certain substances one can avail themselves of.
Oh, sure.
So I can't speak for my wife or my friend, but I was high out of my mind.
Wow.
I just smoked to the point where I didn't even know where I was or who I was. And I'm just sitting there and watching Starship Troopers. And by the halfway point, I'm laughing at the first half, and at the second half, I'm just like, dude.
Where was the baby during all this?
Oh, are you kidding? The baby goes to sleep at between 7 and 8 reliably every night, and he doesn't make a he hasn't made
there
a
you go.
peep. He hasn't made a peep before 2 a.m. in 6 months. He sleeps through the night, right? Like,
well, that's because he's running around all day giving speeches. He's exhausted.
Is an active baby. Yeah,
yes, he is tired.
No, we have a window between like 8 p.m. and midnight where like reliably for months nothing will be needed. And if something is needed, we're not so like we can function,
right. No, I
right?
get it. I get it.
So just for anybody listening,
yes, Child Protective Services, you're all right.
I know, right? No. But there's a 4-hour window where it's kind of like we can do whatever we want. We would never leave the house.
No,
that would be very irresponsible.
Good Lord, what even say? How does that even pop in your head?
I'm just saying,
we were gonna go down to the corner and pick up some donuts, but then we remember there was a baby.
That was it, Starship Troopers, nice. And me getting too high, and then I don't really do that stuff a lot, but honestly,
It's New Year's Eve, man. Got to cut loose.
it was like almost done as a joke. He's like, I want to see you get as high as I possibly can because it'd be funny, and I'm like, all right, but
Okay.
yeah,
You gotta usher in this. Hopefully 2022 is a little less of a dumpster fire than the last 2 years, but who knows?
Yeah, well, there's a Starship Troopers 2, Mike says.
I don't know, but he also says don't watch it.
I will not. I would not.
No. I did. I watched the Super Dave Osborne documentary, which is very, very interesting. It's only like an hour and 15 minutes. Do you know Super Dave Osborne?
No.
Marty. You don't watch Curb Your Enthusiasm. He was Marty Funkhauser on Curb Your Enthusiasm.
Okay.
He's Albert Brooks's brother. His real name is Bob Einstein.
Okay.
He wrote for the Smothers Brothers. He was Steve Martin's writing partner. Hilarious. And Super Dave Osborne, he was like on every show. He was on Letterman all the time. He was on Conan. He was on all the talk shows. He was this. If you have some free time, go on YouTube and look up some Super Dave Osborne. He's hilarious. So I watched that documentary. That was fun. I watched a very interesting documentary called Hillbilly, which was about the people in Appalachia and how they are, how the term hillbilly and the perception of that has been used to marginalize this huge swath of America, and how they were blamed for Trump getting elected. And it was done by a woman who grew up there and had then left the holler that she was raised in and went to University of Kentucky and now is in Los Angeles making films. And it showed, because Appalachia, there's no like set boundaries of Appalachia. It's not like going into a state or going into a town. It stretches from Georgia all the way up to, the Northeast, all on the Appalachian Mountains. So it was very interesting. And it was about how they used these depictions of these people being poor and lazy and stupid and blah, blah, blah. And that's why it was so easy for coal companies to come in there and just destroy the areas, because the people didn't really have any value. And, they were marginalized like other communities, and how there were huge communities of African Americans in Appalachia, but nobody ever really talks about that. You picture hillbillies as poor white trash, which is a label that they use throughout the film as, but they talk to all these different people. So it was when I was flipping through, because I'm like, oh, that looks interesting. Why don't I can invest an hour and a half, watch something that's interesting. And then I'll watch Shang-Chi and the Legend of the Ten Rings. I'll watch some dumb movie with Liam Neeson, who has now decided that all he's going to do is movies where he's a tired old man who kills people.
Right.
This was The Marksman. He's a rancher who's behind on his payments on the Arizona border with Mexico. And one day he almost runs over a kid and his mom who are being chased by the cartel. And it's a whole big thing, but he's a marksman, so he's got to take on the cartel.
Of course. Yeah.
It's crazy. So I watched that. There's a lot. I've been just plowing through.
All right. Well, if you're in a documentary mood, please watch Fantastic Fungi on Netflix.
That sounds weird. I'm going to write it down. What is it about? It's
Fantastic
about fungus?
Fungi. It's about mushrooms. That's all I'll say. The first 5.
Is it about regular mushrooms or psilocybin mushrooms?
Mostly regular mushrooms. They later touch. Well, but this will explain a lot about why you hate mushrooms. It's interesting. The first 5 to 10 minutes is a little trippy. Like there's a lot of like fast motion animation of mushrooms growing, and you're kind of like, do I need to be really high for this? But like then it settles.
Do I need to do some edibles and watch?
I don't think I was. All right. No, like I said, the first little bit's a little weird, but then it falls into a narrative, and it's pretty interesting. But like, that's funny that you said that about mushrooms. Like that's the whole thing. People have There's a lot of cultural influences that go into humans' relationship with mushrooms around the world, and that in itself is actually quite fascinating.
Okay, that sounds pretty fascinating.
Yeah, the Western world kind of fears mushrooms. There's I think mycophobia is what it's called. It's basically a fear of it. Well, in mushrooms, they explain why in the documentary. They talk about how mushrooms are associated with fungus, which is associated with decay and death and
Right.
there's some of these darker things, and then the Eastern Hemisphere, in that part of the world, a lot of places have more of a respect or a relationship with mushrooms, and it's yeah,
All
they
right.
touched on that. It's pretty
Fantastic
interesting.
fungi.
Yeah, fantastic.
That
I
might be good.
liked it a lot. It'll also give you a lot of insight into all the crazy stuff I've been into lately because it does touch on the psychedelic type stuff in the last the back half of the documentary, the back part of it.
All
But
right. You brought up mushrooms. I forgot this one that I watched. It was called Pig, starring Nicolas Cage. And I had read good reviews about it. So Nicolas Cage is living out in the middle of nowhere in a shack like the Unabomber. And he's got a truffle pig. And he and the truffle pig, hunt truffles. But he can also hunt them himself because he knows he can smell the soil and taste the soil, and he knows how to get truffles. Turns out he used to be a famous chef, and this is happening, I think it's in Portland. So he's in the woods outside Portland somewhere. Well, somebody steals his pig, and that sets him off, and he's not happy. And I thought this was going to be some crazy revenge-filled, he was going to take up arms or knives or something to get his pig back. I don't want to spoil it for you if you're watching it, but it actually was a real an old school Nicolas Cage performance where he was actually, and he's come out and said recently in interviews, he doesn't want to be called an actor anymore. He wants to be called a thespian.
Are you serious?
Because if you call him an actor, that he's a good actor, that just means he's a good liar. And if he's a thespian, he's creating characters and imbuing his roles with soul and all that. So, but this was not the usual Nick Cage of the last, 20 years, where he's just bug-eyed and yelling. He was very understated, very calm. The pig. I remember seeing the trailer for this and laughing like I was insane. Just a movie called Pig, because in the trailer, he's just sitting on the floor of this shack, and he whistles, and the pig comes trotting in, and they kiss, and then the pig has its own little bed in the shack, and it's a whole big thing. But but then he goes back into town to find his pig, and this guy who was helping him, the guy who was buying the truffles from him, finds out that he was this famous chef that most of these restaurants in Portland owe a debt to because he was so great. And he's like, I want my pig. Who's got my pig? And there is one scene of underground fighting. So that's something to keep in mind. If you're looking for something, I got to say, I would recommend everybody watch Pig. It sounds insane, but it was actually a good film.
All right.
So go see Pig. Go watch Pig.
I'm writing it down right now. That's very weird.
It is very weird.
Yeah.
And it's one of those that I've wanted to see. There's been a couple that I'm like, Debbie has no interest in watching Nicolas Cage hunt for his stolen truffle pig.
Right.
I didn't know I did either, but I did. And I do.
Is it an art film?
No, because there's a story. I mean, the pig is not featured prominently throughout the movie. The pig's there at the beginning.
Art films can have stories, but I mean, is it artsy or out there, or just your standard movie, just a weird premise?
It's an odd premise. It's an odd premise, and it's I wouldn't say it was an art film. Yeah. I wouldn't say it was an art film. He mentioned that he needed, in this interview I read with him where he said he wanted to be a thespian, not an actor, that he knew in order to get back to the kind of work he used to do, he would need to find some young new director who would take a chance on him. And that's what this director is, some young new director. And yeah, it was an interesting character study. It wasn't the pig wasn't anamorphosized. He wasn't riding a bike or it wasn't like the Muppets.
Right.
It was, there was a reason. There was a reason that the pig was there. The pig was, a tool, and but he had it was like your dog. It's like if you have a hunting dog or a regular dog, and somebody steals your dog, you want to go find your dog. Just happened this was a pig.
Right.
So
weird.
Yeah, it is. Listen, it's not the movie I thought I needed, but it was definitely the movie I needed over the holiday weekend.
Well,
sitting in a chair watching Pig.
Well, Mike says the green mushroom will give you an extra life. That was hilarious. I loved that. Marta asking, what's the name of the Appalachian movie? It's Hillbilly, right?
Hillbilly, and it's on Hulu.
Hillbilly on Hulu, double H.
Yeah, and it's really interesting.
Hillbilly on Hulu. I'll watch it.
Yeah, because I've been in that area. I've worked in Kentucky and Virginia and up West Virginia and all the way up through Appalachia doing stand up.
Yeah.
And it was interesting because some of the people that were being interviewed were very far from your stereotypical hillbilly.
Yeah.
And it was there was a big discussion because the filmmaker is a feminist and was really backing Hillary Clinton, and this was happening around 2016, and her family backed Trump. But the reasons they backed Trump, because they had always been Democrats and stuff, that whole area. And it was really interesting to see how the turn came, that why they decided to back. So, and that's not the whole movie. That's just a small part of it, but it was interesting to see her trying to still relate with her grandmother and her uncles and stuff and cousins, even though, and they were very open talking about it. It wasn't like, oh, I hope they don't find out I backed Hillary. They talked about it, but then there were some gay people who were interviewed, and like, it's really hard to, it's really hard to be here and be who you really are. And, all the teachers, if a kid's smart, all their teachers tell them that they got to get out and never come back. There's nothing for you here. You got to get out. And so people are starting to rebel against that and go, no, this is my home. I don't want to abandon it. I want to stay and, try to make things better. And because it stretches so far, it's wild. Plus, they interviewed the guy who played the kid who played the banjo in Deliverance. And that I thought was really cool.
Wow.
He just got plucked out of class. I don't want to ruin the whole movie, but it's a fascinating story.
That's
and
cool.
He's not, that was all makeup and stuff. He's not really like, I don't know. He's not mentally challenged like he is in the movie.
Yeah.
He's just he was a kid, and the producers walked in and went, that kid and that kid. And he got $500 to be $500 to be in Deliverance.
Well, I'm inspired to go on a documentary kick. I got some shows to pick. I got a list.
Yeah, you got a lot of stuff to do. You got a lot to do. I also watched Class Action Park. It was about this deadly amusement park in New Jersey in the 80s. So Class Action Park's another documentary you might want to watch. It's short, it's fun, and it's freaky.
I'm writing them all down. The one documentary I've been meaning to watch is The Red Pill.
Ooh, I've heard that, but I don't know.
Yeah, it's by a feminist, and she goes into, she was a feminist when she started making the movie. She wanted to learn about the men's rights movement, that kind of stuff. And she went in, and I watched a TED talk from her.
Really?
And she talked about how she made the movie, and she was really proud of it, and she learned a lot about some real struggles that men and boys are facing in America that are never talked about. But she talks about how kind of violently our society is opposed to any voicing of those concerns.
Yes.
That she was getting boycotting by people by the just every just protests outside of theaters, all this stuff. And no one had even seen the movie. They just knew that she had talked to some people in some movements. And she was like, they all convinced me that there are some issues that need to be addressed and no one's addressing them, and no one would listen to me and watch this movie. So it didn't get screenings got canceled and
Really?
distribution was limited. So,
Red pill?
yeah, the red pill. Yeah. So it's
Well,
because
that's a thing that there's been a lot of talk about that in the academic world too, that young boys are treated differently and put on, it used to be boys were like, all right, your son, one, seems very smart, but he's also very active because he's a boy. And that's okay to say that, because there are fundamental differences in men and women. That doesn't mean that women should make less or anything else, but there's a physical and psychological differences that are okay to have. And so boys used to be, it was just expected that boys would be a little rowdier, like in school. And well, then that behavior was seen as some sort of mental health issue in a lot of cases. And that's why a lot of boys were being prescribed, they were being labeled as ADHD, they were being labeled as this or that. And it was, some cases it was legit, but in some cases it wasn't, because they were just, and this is not, please, if anybody asks me are you just saying boys will be boys? Not in criminal defense, no. But if you're 6 on the playground, or listen, I watch little kids all the time from the back of my van, and it's very, very sketchy. I won't tell you what neighborhoods I go into, but at school, you can see the difference. Boys play rougher.
Boys will be boys.
Boys will be boys, and it's okay. That doesn't excuse horrible behavior down the road, but boys will be boys. And are there some boys who don't fit into that and or play a little more gentle or a little more emotional? Of course. Are there girls who are very physical and want to do all these rough and tumble things? Of course. And that's all okay. But now I really want to see this, because it's something that has been a big issue for a long time, and it has been talked about. And as a former science communicator, now a guy who dabbles in science communication, but is in management, is a science suit. Maybe if you start wearing the horn rimmed glasses and the white short sleeve dress shirt with the pocket protector, people will see you as a science suit and not a science communicator. And then anytime they ask you a science question, you just flip them off, or you stab them with a compass.
I like that.
Yeah. I don't communicate about science.
I do it.
I just do science.
Whether you like it or not.
Right. See, because you're a boy. But wow. Look, this has turned into some sort of, we're like at the movies. We're like the new Siskel and Ebert.
Well, check in with me next week, and ask how many times I've made it onto that $1,500 exercise.
I'm looking forward to seeing. I would like a picture of all your laundry hanging from it. It's not going to happen now. I'm guessing by the summer, because once the summer comes, do you have an actual bike?
I do not ride bikes.
Why?
I'm just bad at it, and I don't enjoy it. I'm not a bike rider.
All right, maybe put your exercise bike out on the back deck. That way you can be outside riding a bike.
I think I'll still use it in the sun. Like I said, the point is that I do something
right
while
and you know
I'm.
What?
Yeah,
I like your idea of experiencing new shows or things. Because then all of a sudden it's like, oh, my workout's done, because I was going to ride for a half hour and this show is done. Things go fast. So yes, good luck. I'll be interested to see and hear your progress.
Me too. Hopefully it is not 0.
And by next week, I hope to have still not had a beverage. Ha ha. Which is, I was thinking of Mike and I was thinking of you. And we can start wrapping up after this. I'm going through Facebook, and Facebook listens to everything. They must have heard us at a number of times saying douche canoe, because an ad came up with a T-shirt that had kittens and like rainbows and stuff, and it said, "Nobody likes a douche canoe."
Shut up.
Honest to God. Next time I see it, I will try to forward it to you. I was going to send you a link, but it wasn't just for that shirt. It was for the whole little store, but it said nobody likes a douche canoe. And it's all little kids, like I said, kittens and rainbows and bunnies in it. So, you'd see it from a distance and you'd be like, what the hell is that? And then all of a sudden you'd see the T-shirt and you go, oh my God. So yes,
believe it.
Mike, because of you, we have said the term douche canoe over the last couple of years more than we ever would. And so Facebook is listening. And next time I see this, I may have to order us a couple t-shirts.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
But I don't know, because they look like women's t-shirts. So I don't know if it's just for the ladies. You know?
I mean, if you were just telling me that you saw some shirts that talked about like canoeing, I'd be like,
No.
Could be a coincidence.
No.
But that specific phrase, that's insane.
Oh yeah, it is insane. And I was like, I just can't believe it. So I'll keep my eye out. I know now that I'm saying douche canoe a number of times, it's going to pop back up on my feed again, because technology is listening to us, and soon it will overtake us.
That's really insane.
I know. It's very, very, very weird. All right. Well, we should start wrapping this up for another week. First one out of the gate for 2022. I think we did a pretty good job.
Out the gate, it was solid. Went a little long. It was worth it.
Top to bottom. There we go. Stem to stern. All right. Listen, Cody can still be heard every day on the Curiosity Daily podcast. Is that correct?
Yeah. Thursday and Friday this week.
What?
I was supposed to be in Las Vegas at the Consumer Electronics Show to moderate a couple panels on super cutting edge technology for a client. Well, hey, Las Vegas isn't going to happen because Omicron, but I am still moderating them as virtual tech talks, virtual stage talks. So they're cool. There's one on smart antennas and how they'll help people in remote areas get access to the internet in parts of the world. There's one on quantum and neuromorphic computing, which I don't even know what that is.
Whoa.
There's one on the metaverse and digital optics, which I also don't know anything about, but I know
Spider-Man is in there.
Spider-Man's in there.
He's in the metaverse.
Yeah, and a couple other ones on like big data stuff. So it should be really interesting. There's 3 on Thursday and 2 on Friday.
How can people find them?
I will. I post about it on LinkedIn. I will share links on the Brian Noonan Show Facebook page.
Perfect. Yes.
Take a look, like sometime tomorrow probably. But they're Thursday and Friday afternoon, and I'm sure you can probably rewatch them after they air. If you follow me on LinkedIn, you can also see links. I don't know if that helps, but I'll get links up there. But I've got
put some links up. We'll share it on the podcast page. We'll get it up there. That sounds very exciting. Very exciting.
It'll be fun. Yeah. This is the 3rd year I've done it with this client, and they're really, really good. They have really interesting, smart people. So it should be fun.
Well, I'm sorry you don't get to go to Vegas.
Me too. Because I was going to have my wife join me on the last day on Friday, and then we were going to make a 3-day trip out of it, but we canceled all that. But we got refunds for almost all of it.
Well, that's good.
Yeah, we're good.
Well, if people are looking for things to do this weekend, Thursday night, as I mentioned, I'll be on WTMJ from 6 to 8. And then Friday, I'm back on stage at the Rao Center for the Performing Arts in Crystal Lake, doing stand-up. The show is at 8:30 p.m. Tickets, I've posted a link. Where did I post that link? I'll put it here. And I posted a link on the show page too. So the show is Friday at 8:30 in Crystal Lake. So that should be fun. All right, listen, good luck with the exercise bike. Hopefully tomorrow you're not too sore from carrying it to actually ride. And then hopefully by Thursday you can still walk.
And Friday, when I'm done with all my panels I'm moderating, I'm going to celebrate by coming to the Rao Center in Crystal Lake.
Are you really?
I believe that's the plan. So yeah.
All right. Well, if you're there, I'll pull the showbiz move and I'll introduce you from the stage. Because every time I'm out lately, like if I'm working in the Chicago suburbs, somebody always brings your name up. I was having having technical problems at a show I was doing. The mic went out and somebody yelled out, "Call Cody, he'll fix it."
Shut up. No, they
Honest
didn't.
to God, yes, they do. They listen, whether you like it or not, we are connected. So yeah. You know what you ought to do? You ought to start writing some stand-up. Then we could book a few shows.
I have literally, I have 2 half-written stand-up routines that I would love to try someday, but that's so funny.
Yes.
Well, all right.
And it's happened before. People after the show, they go, "Hey, what's up with Cody?" I go, "Oh, nothing."
Nothing is right.
Nothing. He's I don't know what the hell he's doing. We don't talk. Don't you guys do that pocket? Yeah, but other than that, we don't really talk.
That's
so hilarious. I don't know what's going on. So yeah, all right. Well, hopefully I'll see you there. Folks, if that's not a reason to buy some tickets to the Rouse Center and come out and see Cody. Might see Cody lurking around with Dr. Mrs. Cody hanging around.
Yeah, we'll be around.
Bring the baby, but
no, he's going.
I work blue.
No, I can't have him hearing any of that inappropriate jokes.
Yeah, all right. Well, that's up to you. You want to shelter him, have him grow up soft? That's fine. All right. Well,
what am I supposed to do after the show? I can't buy you a drink.
Can't buy me a drink. Well, we're not.
Buy a mozzarella sticks.
They're probably going to shuffle everybody out of the building. You know, I'm panicked about this. I know we got to go. I'm terrified about the COVID. I'm thinking of driving through for another test tomorrow because I've had a little sinus congestion. I'm sure it's just because the furnace is on and the air is real dry in the house, and I sleep with my mouth open like a lunatic because I have a mouth guard in. And then now they're saying Chicago Public Schools, the teachers are going to vote, and I'm getting letters from school, emails from the superintendent and from the principal going, hey, you got to let us know if you've been exposed or if you have it. And the principal's like, well, the superintendent's like, we're working with the state. We don't know. Nobody knows what's going on. I think everybody's going to end up getting it. There's nothing you can do. We're doomed. Everybody's doomed.
Yeah. All right. Well, text me if the show gets anything happens.
I think, well, I do know you have to show your card. You have to show your Vax card and you have to wear a mask.
Great.
Which makes for hilarity.
Can I flash them too?
Flash what?
Just flash them generally at the door.
Yeah, you can flash whatever you need.
Great.
So, I'll have a sody pop or something. But I don't think, I don't know how that works. We'll figure it out. All right, listen, thanks for watching. Thanks for listening. Tell your friends. It's a whole new year. We're going to be bringing the heat all year on the Realities May Vary podcast. So why not tell people? Why don't you follow us? Because we don't have people subscribe. Hey, guys! We don't do that. But just, tell people. That's fine. That's how everything goes. All right? Cody, have a lovely night. Good luck with your exercise bike. And, just... thank your lucky stars. Who thought all these years ago that you would end up in the position you're in? Congratulations. Beautiful wife. You got a great family, a house. Kids fantastic. Wife's fantastic. Your hair looks fine now.
My hair looks fine now. I got over the hair.
You were worried. You were worried at the beginning, but your hair looks good. So you're all right.
Next time I'll shower more.
I don't know if I like the red curtain behind you, but that's neither here nor there.
No one does.
Maybe by next week I'll have the Christmas decorations down in the office.
But why?
I don't. Yeah, why? Just change them out for Mardi Gras. That's what we're doing with the tree in the living room.
True.
Making it a Mardi Gras tree. All right, everybody. That's all for us. We got to go. Talk to you later. Bye-bye now.
Bye.